Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy you're watching this video, and hopefully if you needed some encouragement today, then you know you came to the right spot. Before we get into the video, make sure you click the notification button and the like button and the subscribe button so that you are up to date on everything and you guys always know when a new video is coming for you. Today, we're gonna be talking about forgiveness, and I went all week and I just could not think of what I wanted to talk about today. And then a whole bunch of stuff in my life happened this week, and all in regards to forgiveness. And I've been watching a sermon series all about forgiveness. And so I was like, you know what? I'm kind of going through it, so I want to talk on it. First verse that I want to read is Luke 6:27 through 28. And it says, "But to who are listening, I say, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you." I've heard this verse a lot, and as I was reading it this week, I was like, oh my goodness, yes, I hear the word enemies, and I just kind of think okay, well, people that I know are against me, or I know are this, but I kind of need to replace that word enemies and just put people and just put humans, because I'm really learning that it doesn't, enemies don't come in the form of people who you know are against you or who are super horrible to you or bully you or whatever. Yes, they definitely can. However, in my life, I've never really had that. And recently, I feel like the people that I know like me and people that I know love me, they can still hurt me. They can still talk bad about me. They can still mistreat me. They can still not understand me. And as I read this verse, when it said, pray for those who mistreat you, it was like, oh my gosh, that is so what's happening. I feel like I'm being mistreated. And it's not by people that hate me or anything. It's by people that I love. And I think that's why it's causing me to be hurt about it. For me, it was I didn't know that because I was hurt meant I needed to forgive. And I think that's something that I'm just now learning, and which is why I want to talk about it, because I want to help you guys and help you guys that in any situation, if you are hurt by something, or if you feel mistreated, if you feel a emotion that is unpleasant, it's kind of a sign okay, you need to forgive whatever's going on. And it didn't feel like what I needed to forgive it didn't come in the form of oh, somebody did something to me, they said they're sorry, and now I forgive them. They have no idea they've even done anything. And they haven't even, it's just the way I felt about something. And because I was hurt by it, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm holding on to something and I am going to take offense to. And I'm not giving myself the gift of forgiveness by releasing that and saying, you know what, that's in your hands, Lord, and I'm just going to pray for them. In Ephesians 4:32, it says, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other as Christ God forgave you. And I think too, with forgiveness, especially when a circumstance is extreme and it causes a lot of pain, I think sometimes we think that if we forgive, that whatever happened all of a sudden just disappeared, and all of the hurt just leaves, and you kind of feel stripped and like that was a part of you if you just forgive something that has affected you so negatively. So I just want to encourage you that with forgiveness, when you forgive, that does not erase how horrible it was. It does not take away from how destructive that situation may have been or how hurtful words may have been said. All it does is it takes your circumstance from having control over you and from affecting you to just releasing the control and saying, you know what, yes, this happened, but I'm no longer going to let this situation control the way I'm living my life. And that's something that I learned a couple years ago. I feel like I was really convicted of. I had held on to a lot of resentment towards basically one single person. That was a huge influence in my life in high school and before and for so many years. And I just felt so mistreated by them. And I was so hurt because they were so influential in my life and everything I did. And so for years after graduating, I still had this bitterness towards them. And I still had, I had forgiven them. And even though like they never said sorry, it was something that, you know, that never would have happened. But I thought I had forgiven them because I had moved on from the situation. But I was still bitter in my heart towards them. I knew I was still bitter because the thought of seeing them didn't excite me as the thought of seeing a child of God. And they still are a child of God. And so that's how I knew, like, okay, I'm still holding on to something because I'm not seeing them the way the Lord sees them. I'm seeing them the way I see them. And I really let myself fully just forgive that whole situation and release that. It didn't take away everything that I had felt prior to that. All it did was finally not control areas of my life because I was holding on to bitterness. I wasn't as open towards other people, and I wasn't open towards other people in that same profession as they were, or I wasn't fully loving the people around me just because the devil had a hold on that part of my heart. It had been controlling my trust in people. It had been controlling my trust in the Lord. It had been controlling, you know, how I was reacting to other situations when I was in the wrong. And so when I finally was convicted of that, and I was like, whoa, like, this is something in my life I guess I've never really forgiven. And when I just took that to the Lord and fully released that to him, since then, that was like 3 years ago, 3 years ago, I feel like I've worked on forgiveness so much because I felt the weight and the chains just fall off of me. And it wasn't immediate. It was a process. But it is so freeing to just not have that circumstance or that situation or those words or whatever it might be. It is so freeing to not have that be what is controlling your thoughts and your emotions and your actions. And all you're doing when you're not forgiving is you're keeping coal and you're holding it in your hands. And the only person that it's going to keep hurting is yourself. The longer you hold on to it, the more and more it's going to burn you. And the more and more those burns are going to start turning into scars. And the harder it's going to be to see your hands clean and clear in the way that the Lord wanted it to be. And so all of these little things in your life that are building up and causing this offense on you that you're constantly holding on to, all it does is hurt you. It does not hurt that person that did that to you or that gave that to you or that put that on you. All it does is hurt yourself. Last thing I want to read is a quote by Chapman, and it says, "Forgiveness is not a feeling, it is a commitment. It is a choice to show mercy, not to hold the offense up against the offender. Forgiveness is an expression of love." So I just want to unpack this really quick. When it says forgiveness is not a feeling, it is a commitment. Oh my goodness, that is so true. I think it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, like forgiveness, like it's easy. Like if somebody cuts me off, yeah, whatever, I'll forgive them. like no big deal. But no, every single day you have a choice to forgive. And every single day, people are gonna do things that upset you, that hurt you, that make you feel a different way, that make your day so much harder than it needed to be. And forgiving and choosing to forgive is such a commitment. It is not easy. It does not feel good in the moment. It is something you really have to train your mind in. Just like working out, you can't go to the gym one day and then be all motivated and all excited. So you go to the gym that one day, you work as hard as you possibly can, and then you don't go for another month. And you're like, why don't I have a six-pack? Why am I not ripped? It's because you have to train every single day and be super diligent. Cut out things in your life. Cut out anything that might be holding you back from achieving that goal to get fit. And it's a daily choice, and it's a commitment that you have to make every single day or every single week to work out and to exercise and to go back to that gym, to go back to that place. And forgiveness is the same way. It is a muscle. It has to be used. It is something it only will come naturally if you are training your mind every single day. If it's occasional, if you decide to forgive occasionally, then it's only occasionally ever going to come into your head. And all of these things that build up in your life, there's going to be so many that never get forgiven because you don't even remember or you don't even know, oh my goodness, I didn't forgive that. But it's slowly holding on to you and being put more and more on you, more and more weight. Instead of training that muscle to every time anything happens, you're just like, I forgive it, I forgive it, I forgive it. And the more and more you start to forgive, the more and more people see they cannot put anything on you that you don't want. If you don't want to feel pain, they cannot put that on you. If you don't want to feel sorrow, they cannot put that on you. If you don't want to be hurt, they cannot put that on you. If you don't want to feel less than, they cannot put that on you. Because every time you forgive, it slides right off. And the more and more you keep forgiving, absolutely everything, no matter how challenging it is, and especially when nobody is asking for your forgiveness, the more and more you're going to see so much transformation in the way you're living your life and how much control all of those offenses have had on you. Now, it might not feel like it, but if you are not forgiving, you are keeping yourself captive by the things that have hurt you, and that is what's controlling you, and that is what's projecting your life. Where the second you release that, it's like chains, they fall. They have no control. The chains, not that they were never there, but now all you've done is you've stripped them off, where now they no longer have the power to control you. So hopefully this helps. I hope this made sense to you. And there's so much more on forgiveness that I could talk about, but right now I just really wanted to stress these few points. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. Don't forget to click the like button, click the subscribe button, and the notification button. And if you want to stay up to date on the rest of my life, my other channels are in the description of this video. Before clicking off of this video, put one thing in the comments of something that you forgave somebody for. I will be reading through because I'm super curious. And yeah, I love you guys. Have an amazing week. Bye.